Scoob. Classic story about a boy and his dog.
Wait, Scoob's a dog?
So, man, it's been a crazy time for all of us. We haven't really gotten to really do any movie reviews, and...
Oh, God, that is true. Like, we did Child's Play, which never got released. We did Power Rangers, which didn't get released. We were going to do Endgame, but we said fuck it after we realized that, we can't catch up.
Yeah, and like the main issue is, the editing of all the videos, is essentially just me doing it, and I work a full-time job, so it's like finding the time to actually get all those clips, put it together, and record ourselves or myself doing it. It's one of those times when it's like, hey, I got a good 3 or 4 days free in order to actually get everything edited and posted.
And next thing you know, you're asleep for those 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I'm asleep for those 3 or 4 days because I've literally been running all over the place working a 50, 60-hour week.
Bullshit, you've been playing Persona 5.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, it's Jeremy, a.k.a. Feld Fortitude.
Yeah, Action, or Kevin, whatever you want to call me. But we've decided that, we really miss doing the movie reviews, and we figure it'd be a lot easier to basically just do a podcast.
No clips needed. No need to sexy ourselves up with makeup. Not that we do that. And
Kim.
Come on,
anyway,
let's just be honest, it's Zip.
Yeah, that's true. That's your freaking Hoovian.
Goddamn Trekker.
So basically, we just figured, let's just do this in podcast form, and now that we do technically have ample time, even though we're both still working during what's going on right now.
Oh yeah, I never stopped working.
We both still work, but it is ultimately going to be easier for us to just do it like a podcast. Just talk about the movies. Yeah,
it's going to be an offshoot from the idea that I thought of a while back, in our potty mouth. Which is just shooting the shit through video games, but honestly, this seems like a better format. No need to record anything, just our voices.
Yeah, and now I do enjoy going out to the movie theaters, but we understand what's happening. The movie theaters are shut down now, maybe some of them are here. Starting to open back up,
but I still don't trust being around that many people. Like, it's bad enough my job, a call center, is making me work at the call center.
Yeah, like 6 feet away from the next person who may or may not be sick.
Yeah. So if I die, just note, Scoob was a great movie.
Yeah, and it's very ironic how when we decide, hey, let's go and start doing this format, what's the next movie we should do? 4 days later from when we decide, okay, let's go ahead and do this podcast form, we're about to get Scoob released on digital. So
I bought it at work.
Yeah, so we're like, you know what? Why the hell not? Let's start this back up with Scoob. Granted, this franchise started back in 1969, and this is way before my time.
Unless you are legitimately a baby, you grew up with Scooby-Doo.
I sure as hell did. Yeah,
I did too. Yeah, I remember in Cartoon Network where they used to have I think it was a 2-day marathon of nothing but Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, exactly. And heck, when I was a kid, my oldest brother was a huge Scooby-Doo fan, probably still is now, and he's the one who got me into Scooby-Doo.
By the way, if he has free time, send him let him know that I can send him my voodoo info.
All right, we'll do. Yeah, but
that's it if he didn't buy it himself, because if you're a Scooby-Doo fan, without spoiling anything at all, this is hands down probably up there with some of the best Scooby-Doo movies ever.
It really is. It's the best Scooby-Doo movie I've seen in a long time. At least best animated that I've seen in a long time since Zombie Island. And that honestly goes down as arguably the best Scooby-Doo film in existence.
Yeah.
Really is, because for the first time in 20 years, or this came out in the mid-90s.
Yeah, and it was real monsters.
Real monsters, real shit hitting the fan.
That's the funny thing about Scooby-Doo. If it's the shows, it's never real monsters. But if it's any of the movies, whether it's the live action or the animated, they're always real monsters. Whether
Yeah,
they're
well,
man-made real monsters, like in Cyber Chase, where that fucking ginger just like made the virus, or if it's like, you know, Tim Curry with the ponytail awakening his dead grandma.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, if this movie, it's not just for Scooby-Doo fans. It's for Hanna-Barbera fans.
Oh God, yes.
If you are a fan of the world of Hanna-Barbera, this is the movie for you.
And there's no spoilers in what we just said right there. Dick Dastardly's all over the damn trailer. The same thing with Blue Falcon.
Yeah, heck, I didn't even, and I actually watched another Easter egg video before we started this, just to kind of see, hey, did I miss any Easter eggs or cameos that were in the movie that I just didn't catch? And there were several that I did not catch. Like I did not know that, okay, so when Captain Caveman had his own cartoon, there was a trio of teenage fighters that were with him, the name escapes me right now, but Blue Falcon's pilot, she was one of those teenagers.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, Dee Dee was her name, and I'm like, wait, I've seen her somewhere before. She looks familiar. I know I've seen her face. That can't be an original character. And so when I looked it up, found the Easter egg. Yeah, she was one of the teens that teamed up with Captain Caveman.
Okay, what about the bowling girl?
The bowling girl, that was a straight up OC, just a random character they built. But she actually laid out a She actually laid out an Easter egg to Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, they got beamed up. It's like, yeah, that's a total Star Trek reference.
See, if Zip would have just hung out with us that day, like everybody else did, hell, even Kim saw the movie.
Yeah.
I think Zip would have laughed his ass off when he saw that Easter egg.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, like, there is probably about a good 40 Easter eggs and cameos.
Oh, there's some
movie.
of them that just go by real fast, like over at the amusement park.
Yeah, a lot of them in the amusement park. I saw a arcade machine for Hong Kong Phooey. That was like
super guy.
Yeah, and that was one of my favorite Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Oh man, I was looking for an El Kabong Easter egg.
Yeah, but there is one disappointment that I have with the movie as far as like the Hanna-Barbera cameos and Easter eggs, which I'll get into later. But basically, what this movie does is the same thing that a lot of the other Scooby-Doo movies have done, at least in the last 20 years or so, because prior to this, let's say 80s on back. 80s on back. Prior to that, Scooby-Doo has kind of stuck to the same formula. You got the kids in the mystery machine. They're on the road. They're heading somewhere. They stop somewhere and
some place that always happens to be haunted.
Yeah, some random side character approaches them, says, "Yo, this place is haunted. There's a ghost of this guy that's haunting this village and scaring everybody out. We need you guys to help us out with it." And so they do their investigation stuff. They do their mystery thing. They find out, hey, it's a dude in a costume. Pull the mask off, hand him over to the authorities.
Old Man Smithers.
Yep, and boom, on to the next location. It's always been the same thing. Well, once you start getting to the early 80s, when you get, say, the new Scooby-Doo movies, they started to change it up a bit. Now, it's technically the same thing, but now you've got some special guest characters. Like, they team with Don Knotts, they team with Batman, they team with the Harlem Globetrotters. You know, a lot of stuff
Elvira, I think, like in 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, hell, I think the series finale, or at least one of the last episodes of the series, they teamed with my homegirls, the Josie and the Pussycats. They were there too.
They teamed with Josie. They teamed with what's the name of the bug? The talking bug? I mean, not the bug. The car. It was
Herbie.
Not Herbie. The other one. He always sounded like his motor was on like.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I think I heard Herbie the Love Bug when you said that, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, but they basically had their own Shaggy, like that back then. Like if you were a teenage group, you had your Shaggy. He always looked like him. He may or may not have been a stoner. Then you had the smart one, which was always the Velma. You could always tell, usually because she always had glasses somehow.
Yeah, and 9 out of 10 times was the one figuring shit out.
Then you had the pretty girl. She was either pretty and dumb, pretty and a bitch.
Yeah, and then you had the muscle, which is your Fred.
Yeah, who was always rocking a very unique accessory. Let's just call it that.
Yeah, we'll go with that. And then you had the animal companion, which was your Scoob.
Yeah, you had Jabberjaw,
like Jabberjaw, like Grape
Ape, Captain Caveman.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
even Dynamite.
Dynamite, but I'm just trying to remember, but I can visually remember. I can visually see. I think he was like a dune buggy or something like that. Like he was, his headlights were the eyes. He had a mouth, and he could talk, but it always sounded like he was like a sputtering motor.
Speed buggy.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. Speed buggy.
Yes,
yeah.
like honestly, like you had all those things. Hell, even to this day, Mike Tyson's mystery group.
Yeah, even they take inspiration from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, because Mike Tyson's clearly the Velma.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of history with Hanna-Barbera overall, and a lot of inspiration, a lot of legacy that Scooby-Doo has left, and this movie does end up capturing that. And now here's the one thing that scared me initially about this movie, and I'm not talking about the movie itself. I'm talking about people's reception of the movie, because every time you get some of these fans who are nostalgic fans of the classic stuff, they start to hold judgment towards this new product based on the old product. And realistically, we know and realistically we get it. Like, look, they still have Frank Walker. He's still voicing Scooby even 30 years later. Still got Frank Walker, but you got Zac Efron as Fred Jones now.
Does a good job.
Yeah, you got Will Forte as Shaggy now.
Which, honestly, he did a great job. I kind of wish they still stuck with Matthew Lillard. That's just me, though.
Yeah, and then you got Gina Rodriguez as Velma now, who if you're not familiar, if y'all are not familiar with her, and you've seen the Netflix series Carmen Sandiego,
yeah,
she's Carmen Sandiego, and she did a phenomenal job in that too. But we get it though. We get it. Okay, Will Forte is no Casey Kasem.
I love how you just forgot about Daphne.
No. I was listing some examples just so we can keep pressing. But here's the thing. We get it. Will Forte is no Casey Kasem. We can't even put him in the same vein as Matthew Lillard. Okay, Zac Efron is no Frank Walker. Okay, we get that, but you can't put them on that same pedestal as these other classes because those guys are legends. Yeah, and they're not going to voice these characters forever.
For God's sakes, I'm glad I didn't see anybody saying "Oh, why isn't Casey Kasem voicing Shaggy in the new movie?" Casey Kasem's dead.
Because he's dead, dumbass. I mean, come on. Rest in peace, Casey.
Yeah, it's like you kind of want to use that clip from Family Guy. Like, I tell you, he did.
Yeah, exactly. But
every iteration of anything, be it comic book movies, comic book TV shows, Power Rangers, new reboots for video games, everything has to stand on its own. Yes, it is good if you can get the same, voices and everything. That is okay because at least a new generation can experience greatness. But look at every iteration of Batman for cartoon-wise. Not every single one of them was Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just saying Kevin Conroy because everybody, when you think Batman speaking, if you look at a picture of Batman with words on it, whose voice do you automatically hear?
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind for most of these fans is Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
And same with live-action Batman. Not every live-action Batman is going to be Adam West or Michael Keaton,
Or Val Kilmer. Come on, give him some due.
Yeah, well, hey, Val Kilmer was better than George Clooney, in my honest opinion. But still, they're not going to be those.
Or that one dude from the Bat in the Sun series.
Yeah. That dude, he's a legend in his own right.
Yeah, that motherfucker, like, oof.
Bat and the Sun, you guys are doing something right. I love y'all.
You know what? Side note, I just thought of another video we can do, which I will throw it on here just so we have to do it now. Let's review Bat and the Sun's, like, catalog of fights.
You know what? I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
Stay tuned in 3 years when we actually get to that.
Yeah, but anyway, so you got to essentially minus Frank Walker, who's still Scooby. You got a new crop of actors and a new story for Scooby. This movie goes into more backstory and more character development.
Oh, God, man. The times of, like, I wanted to tear up in that movie.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And it's just because I'm an animal lover through and through. Like, I like cats, I like dogs, but I hold a hardcore sentiment for dogs. My closest pet was my former Chihuahua, Harley. So, seeing in the beginning, which is, again, in the trailers, the meeting of young Norville Shaggy Rogers, and yes, if you did not know that, that is Shaggy's real name.
Yeah, that's his name.
Meeting an unknown puppy, because they did not go with the pup named Scooby-Doo backstory of he comes from a lineage of dogs, and his real name's Scoobert.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing a young puppy stray, like meeting young Shaggy, and then bonding immediately, come on.
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at the movie, that like before we were named Scoob, we were just known as that dog. I mean, come on, that dog was a criminal. I mean, come on, man. That dog,
he gave no shits.
He gave no fucks, man. He broke into
a shawarma joint.
He broke into a shawarma joint and just stole a giant log of shawarma beef and just starts running away in Venice Beach. And so naturally,
being tracked by the popo.
Yeah, and you're watching the trailer thinking that this is just some dick cop that's just fucking with Scoob because he's a stray. No, that dog stole probably about $100 worth of meat.
Not even $100 because shawarma meat gets used until it's completely done. That was like probably thousands of dollars worth of profit right there.
The damn meat log was bigger than Scooby. I mean, come on.
Like also he injured that cop.
Yes, he did. And yet now, realistically speaking, you would think that if the cop approaches this kid and this kid says, "Yo, that's my dog," first thing the cop would say is, "Well, your dog just caused thousands of dollars in damage and stole product from a restaurant that's worth even more money. You're gonna have to pay for that." No, this dude just says, well, "That's your dog. What's his name? Scooby."
Oh no! It was Snacks.
Yeah, and then he finally settled on Scooby, and he was like, middle name, Doobie, last name, Doo. Okay, works for me. Have a good day, kid. And he just goes.
He never even said. It was like, well, I can't prosecute a dog if it has a full name. That was literally...
Yeah, and I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
Like, if that's the case, man, we need to train, like, fucking animals now.
Yeah, shoot, we can get away with anything. If that's the case. Yeah,
Brandon's as close to an animal as we can get. He has a full name.
You still need a new car, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's just go train your next dog to just steal a car and give him a middle name, and then you'll be set for life.
Yep.
I swear. Okay, but the story goes into detail on how Scooby met Shaggy and how all the kids met. And ironically enough, the first time they meet was on Halloween, and they happen to come across a quote-unquote haunted house, and that was essentially their first mystery. Just kind of stumble upon it, and all they're doing is trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and...
Honestly, it's because, I shit you not, 2 juggalos fuck with Shaggy.
Yeah, and you know the funny thing is that Easter egg video that I watched, and I don't remember who put it out, but this Easter egg I watched says that the face paint was a possible Easter egg for the Joker, which this person thinks, hey, makes sense because still a Warner Brothers product, they can use Joker hints there. But even I was like, dude, that's not Joker, that's ICP.
Yeah, like
that's Insane Clown Posse.
Like when we were watching the movie, everybody just turns to me because if nobody knew this, I am a Juggalo. I love ICP. I've always have ever since my uncle introduced it to me. Back from, I want to say, the Amazing Chuckle Brothers. But that's far from the point. Like, the moment that we saw the face paint, they all looked at me, and I was like, dude, ICP, what the hell? Like,
Exactly. I recognize it, and I'm not even a juggalo.
well, I mean, ICP is like iconic. Like, they're like one of those bands that you either know just because of their notoriety, or you know because you hate them.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I kind of know them for the notoriety. I mean, I've heard
a
bunch of their
fan.
Oh yeah, and I've heard a bunch of their music, but I can't say I actively follow them as a fan, you know. But it's nothing against them.
But like the fact that they're in this, like that's pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly, and it doesn't stop there. There's so many references to real life people, real life bands in this movie too.
Oh, the first what the fuck moment after the whole kids scene is over is the first celebrity we meet.
Oh, freaking Simon Cowell.
Who voices himself.
Voices himself. And I'm like, where the fuck did Simon Cowell come from?
Not only that, it's a remarkable likeness.
Oh yeah, they did a damn good job. I think his eyes were a little tiny, but I can get past that. Everything else was perfect, you know. Yeah, but yeah, this movie is chock full of references just like that. And one of the best parts that I'm not gonna lie made me cry and made us all clap when it was all done was the opening sequence. They redid the opening sequence to Scooby-Doo Where Are You from 1969.
From little kids to where they age up.
Yes, and it was just beautiful, like bit for bit, shot for shot, everything from that original opening.
That like just opened my heart and just poured in nostalgia.
Yes.
So this is something that you can honestly watch with your kids, your nephews, your nieces, your grandchildren. And like everybody's going to get something from every iteration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's literally for everybody. Even for people who have no idea who the hell Scooby-Doo is, never saw a bit of it. You're going to get into it.
If my grandfather was still alive, you know, I guarantee you he would have loved this movie. He fucking loves Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and honestly, it makes me want to call my brother and just be like, "Yo, buy this movie, watch it with your kids. They're gonna love this." Yeah, but we get it. But anyway, we get into modern day, and
Simon Cowell. What the fuck?
Yeah, the what the fuck moment. Simon Cowell is talking to Mystery Inc. and because they're looking to expand. They're trying to be more than just a bunch of kids traveling around solving mysteries in a van with a dog and a pothead friend. No, they're doing
allegedly. Because he wasn't as potheady.
Yeah, allegedly. But
he probably just smoked the oils.
Yeah, but they're trying to make this a legitimate business where they can potentially go global or go national or potentially go global, and actually make some real money doing this. But Simon Cowell, so they approach Simon Cowell to say, "Hey, we're looking for an investor."
And he straight up says, he was like, "I don't put my name on just anything. And you guys are as strong as your weakest links." So you can pretty much go in your mind where this is going to.
Yeah, who would you think that Simon Cowell would address as the weakest links? Scooby and Shaggy, the ones who, in his mind, contribute the least to the team. As most of the time, they're not even paying attention to the conversation.
Which ironically, in that conversation,
they weren't.
There's a joke that's in there. We won't spoil it for you, but there is a funny joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so now of course the rest of the team, they're like, "Look, man, these guys are our friends. They're part of this team. We can't just kick them to the curb. We've been
together for 10 years.
Yeah, we can't just kick them to the curb like that. You know, they're part of this team." And so Simon's like, "Well, if you're all keeping them around, well, I'm out." You know, so there went that sponsorship. And it's this.
Well, yeah, like he was just, well, I'm out, but also, you know, the decision that sets off the rest of the movie happens.
Yeah, exactly. Because of that conversation with Simon Cowell, you got Shaggy and Scooby now who view themselves as that weakest link,
and they're a little butthurt, rightfully so.
Rightfully so. And so now they're going through this character evolution, this character change. To say, hey, you know, do we really contribute anything? Are we actually important to this movie? So now you got some character development here. You got some real character development between Shaggy and Scooby that we've honestly never seen before, at least not to this level. You know, so most of this movie is focusing. Yeah, the main focus for most of this movie is Shaggy and Scooby, but it's the character development portion of it. Now, it doesn't mean that they're in the spotlight 24/7, and then we don't get any attention paid to Fred, Velma, and Daphne. But
quite the opposite. It keeps going back and forth.
Yeah, quite the opposite. But a lot of the catalyst that kickstart the events of this movie is that journey of self-validation for Shaggy and Scooby.
And the thing is, it's not even a mystery that sets this movie off. It's literally that. Like, it's not even like, over in the Philippines, there's this story about an ancient witch that summons people by howling into the moon. It's like, no, it's just Simon Cowell being Simon Cowell, and that sets off what happens in the movie.
Yep, and then next thing you know, they go to a
bowling alley.
They go to a bowling alley, which, by the way, you saw the name on that bowling alley.
I said that has to be a reference to something.
It is.
What was it?
That's the guy. The bowling alley is named after the guy who did the initial designs for Scooby-Doo.
I fucking knew it because remember, Isaac was just like, "Oh no, that's just a bowling brand." And I'm just like, "Okay, that makes sense."
It's like no, like so far everything that they put into this movie has meaning. Like even the names of the buildings.
There's a Pebbles one.
There was that. Even the name of the name of on a billboard when we first see Shaggy. It had the name Casey's Creations. That was a nod to Casey Kasem.
Yes.
There was two shops. I don't think they were restaurants, but there were two shops that actually had the names Hanna and Barbera. Boom, Hanna-Barbera. And so not the shawarma shop, but the gyro shop that you see in that line of shops on Venice Beach. It had the name Alexander's Great Gyros or something like that. Yeah. It was a nod to Alexander the Great, which storyline wise, Alexander the Great is actually an important part of this story because it's
kind of threw me for a loop.
Threw us all for a loop because it's all linked to Scooby and Shaggy, which we're not going to get into spoilers, so we're not going to go into detail about that until later in the video. Yeah, and we'll give you a spoiler warning when we do that. But every name that you see, well, at least most every name that you see of a building or of a business or on a billboard or something, it has some type of significance.
You're gonna want to watch this movie. If you're gonna want to watch this movie like 2 or 3 times, one to just enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy the story, enjoy the character development.
Don't focus on trying to get the Easter eggs. You're gonna get a good amount because it's just gonna happen. Mm-hmm. But the next 2 or 3 times, you're going to go through that with a fine-tooth comb. You're going to basically freaking, Dead Meat James this, and you're probably going to watch it at a certain slow pace. And you're going to be like, that's what it is. Oh, that's what it is. Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Wait, is that who I think it is? Oh, yeah. It is. That's who I think it is.
Yeah, and you're going to start analyzing stuff. And so...
And then you're going to possibly see things that are going to set up for the next couple of movies. Because honestly, I could see them making a sequel to this. If they do, that's awesome. If they don't, I'm fine with this because this is a good standalone.
Yeah, and there's a lot, and if they stick with the whole idea of
the Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe,
Hanna-Barbera universe, bringing it all together through Scooby-Doo, then you open the doors for at least 1 or 2 sequels because there's so much to that world that hasn't even been tapped into yet. But anyway, back to the bowling alley. So Shaggy and Scooby. It's learned that they go to this bowling alley, when they got stuff on their mind and they just want to clear their minds, just play some bowling, and that's what they were doing. They were just bowling, but stuff starts coming to life and attacking them. It's like the bowling pins turn into these little scorpion robots and just literally start bum rushing them,
until they turn into like little chibi cutesy things.
Yeah, it's like in this moment, Shaggy and Scooby are about to die. This
is the closest thing to legitimate death. Since Zombie
Island. Yeah, exactly. And then they get beamed up on this spaceship, and I know this all sounds fucking crazy, but
it's IKEA.
But yeah. But you do see this in the trailer. This the when Scooby is like, "It's IKEA." Did you just say IKEA?
It was like, "Look, man, do you know where we are?" It was like the blue lightning. the chrome finish. It's
IKEA.
Falcon Fury. Did you just say IKEA?
No, I said Falcon Fury, just like you. Yeah, but yeah, you come to learn that this is the ship of a superhero named the Blue Falcon.
And if you grew up watching Hanna-Barbera, oh, you don't even have to grow up watching Hanna-Barbera. If you watch Harvey Birdman, you know who Blue Falcon is.
Who the Blue Falcon is, yes, and
maybe not that iteration, but you know who Blue Falcon is.
Yeah, and so they get saved, quote unquote, by Blue Falcon and his pilot Dee Dee, who, as we kind of discussed earlier, she is actually one of the 3 teenagers that teamed up with Captain Caveman.
Would you say she's a teenager with attitude?
Yeah, pretty much. And so they're like, you guys got attacked because there's some bigger plot going on. There is an evil villain that is plotting something dastardly, pun intended,
and he's a penis.
Yeah, and so that opens the door for Dick Dastardly, who is this movie's villain. He is chasing after Scooby.
And if you've never heard of Dick Dastardly, then he opens up this whole universe. Like, this dude is kind of like Malekith from Thor 2, in the sense of, like, you've never heard of him, but he's important.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have heard of him, then again, the nostalgia just hits you right in the heart.
Oh, Wacky Racers, man.
Yeah, Wacky Racers, Laugh Olympics, all that stuff, man. I'm like, oh my God, Dick Dastardly. Now, that's one of the things I wish the trailer didn't necessarily spoil for us, because
that should have been something that was just clearly for the movie.
Yeah, because that's a pretty big reveal. If they didn't show it in the trailer, you would have your mind blown
that's
to
like
see Dick Dastardly as the main villain.
That would be like if they were doing Infinity War and they showed the snap.
Yeah, exactly. That's a pretty big scene to just drop into a trailer. But anyway, it's like the movie reveals so much more. So just to make a long story short, without really spoiling a whole lot of stuff,
which we'll do in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, Dick Dastardly is chasing after Shaggy and Scooby because he needs them for a bigger plot. A much bigger plot. And so while this is going on, you got the rest of the Mystery Inc. on the ground trying to figure out what the fuck is happening, because they're hearing wait, tiny robots that turn into scorpions and they shoot lasers, and Shaggy and Scooby were beamed up onto a spaceship,
and you have to pay for Netflix.
Yeah, and it's like, what the hell is going on? And man, bless her heart, Velma is taking all this information in, and she is not phased at all. She's
nerding the hell out. She was like, "Oh man, look at the work on this robot. I wish I could just shake the hand of the man who made this." And they look at her. Now, granted, if you know Velma, she's really impressed. But then she has to like recover immediately. She was like, "Oh yeah, so I can throw some handcuffs on, put that bastard in jail because he stole our friend."
Yeah, and all the while I'm watching this, I'm like, I love Velma. I love Velma so much.
Yeah, this iteration of Velma is probably the best of every iteration.
Yeah, like me, Velma is my Scooby-Doo waifu. I'll just be honest with you, man. When I was growing up, everybody loved Daphne.
Oh no, I'm a
Daphne
Velma man.
Daphne was their woman. Like me, Velma was my chick. Like I friggin' loved Velma, and
it didn't hurt that when they made the live action movies, they always casted the hottest chick to play Velma.
Yeah, friggin' Linda Cardellini, man, I love her so much too. You know, but Velma's taking all this information in, and she's just like, oh, okay, cool, and does her Velma thing, whips out her supercomputer, and within like 2 minutes figures out where they gotta go, who it is that they're dealing with, and what they gotta do to save Shaggy and Scooby, and then of course from there, that's when the adventure ensues. They eventually run into Dick Dastardly. They quote unquote get kidnapped, but
there's a reason for it.
But there's a reason for it. Like Dick Dastardly doesn't want to kill these guys. He actually needs them so he can get Shaggy and Scooby.
Like everything is methodically thought out.
Yeah, nothing in this movie happens for no reason, except technically speaking, the unmasking later.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was hilarious. But we'll get to that. Everything is written for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And Dick Dastardly, he's always been one of those masterminds who doesn't just do stuff for the sake of doing it. He has a purpose. Doom. Yes. He exactly. He has a purpose. He has a purpose to everything he does. and that shines brightly in this movie as well. Everything he does is for a reason. And as all the pieces of the puzzle start coming together, you see that big picture.
Oh man!
And it just blew my fucking mind when it all finally came together, and we see why he wanted Scooby and what he was after. And then you think he's going to like try and destroy the world or take over the world, when there's actually something much deeper going on.
Yes.
That he is trying to accomplish.
Now let's just cut it off right here for the non-spoiler part. Because, we should just spoil the hell out of it. Let's just give our ratings right now.
Yeah. We'll go into our ratings, and then we'll give you a spoiler warning and let you know what's happening. So here's what I thought about this. Okay, I loved the new story, and what I was getting to before is, ever since the 80s on forward, pretty much every incarnation of Scooby-Doo tried something new. New backstories, new character developments, new side characters, new plot twists, things like that. Heck, even with What's New Scooby-Doo, even with Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, they all tried something new. And this movie is no different. It tried something new. It kept it fresh. And that's what I love about it. And I love a good storyline. I love my nostalgia, but it is only so long that you can keep doing the same thing over and over again before it starts getting stale. You got to keep the stuff fresh, and that's the best thing that's the best thing that this movie has done. It tried something new backstories for the characters, new ways to get them to come together, new development for them over the years, and a new villain. A villain that's not just a guy in a mask trying to scare people. A villain that actually has a big picture plot that he is trying to accomplish, and then on top of that, bringing in essentially the other Hanna-Barbera creations to kind of create a Hanna-Barbera universe through Scooby-Doo. And that was even better. And they haven't even hit on every single Hanna-Barbera creation, which leads me to believe that there's going to be a sequel. At least one sequel later. I freaking love this. It's a great movie for nostalgic Scooby-Doo fans. It's a great movie for casual Scooby-Doo fans, and it's a great movie for new Scooby-Doo fans who've never seen anything Scooby-Doo prior to this. It's fantastic. Everybody needs to see this movie. You're going to enjoy the hell out of it. And like Jeremy was saying, watch it 2 or 3 times just to go back through and see all the Easter eggs and all the cameos that you probably missed. And then you're going to get even more enjoyment out of it. That gives it rewatchability. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's nothing but a nerdgasm right there. Everything about it is a nerdgasm. Yeah. My only gripe, which I kind of hinted at earlier, my only gripe about this is that there was one Hanna-Barbera creation that they did not cover, they did not give an Easter egg to, that I saw at least, and they did not have a cameo for, and that's my crew, Josie and the Pussycats. I did not see them anywhere in this movie, especially when there was technically a clear setup in the very end to say, yo, there's a musical act coming. Yo, don't worry, they're going to be here any moment. I'm like, oh my God, it's the Josie and the Pussycats. No, it wasn't Josie and the Pussycats. And I was like, son of a bitch. I'm done. I'm done with it. But I can't hold that against this movie
because it could end up coming in the next one.
Yeah, because there could end up being a sequel, and I might get that, and I really hope Warner Brothers is listening. But this is nerdgasm all over from start to finish for me. It's for everybody. Everybody who has any enjoyment of Scooby-Doo at any particular level, whether you're a newbie or you're a nostalgic fan of the old school stuff, man. This is your movie.
Honestly, I have to go along with Kev on this one. It is rather enjoyable. It's such just a treat for the eyes, a treat for the fan, a treat for the heart. It's I'm gonna straight up say nerdgasm. From all the Hanna-Barbera lore, from the little Easter eggs, honestly, I want them. I'm really interested in seeing if they're gonna introduce some of Scooby-Doo's family. Like, is Scrappy Doo gonna somehow make a comeback? Dummy Doo? Dopey Doo? What was his name again?
Oh shoot! Let me look that up real quick. At least I'm next to my computer.
Yeah, because he has the cousin who's white and he's like a doofy. Is it Doofy Doo?
Scooby-Doo family tree. There's Scooby-Dum. There's Ruby-Doo.
Is Scooby Dum the like I said, the white one with the red hat?
Let's see. Daddy Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Dum, Scooby-D. There's literally a Doobie-Dooby-Doo. So yeah, Scooby-Dum is the one you're thinking about.
Okay.
The grayish white one with the red hat.
Like there's that. There's so many different things. Like, are they going to introduce Scrappy? Like, I want to see if they're going to show Scrappy the same hatred that everybody shows him, or are they going to actually introduce him as, like, you know, somebody interesting? Because they can go both ways. They could go into where, like, hey, this new puppy comes out of nowhere and he tries to take over, you know, Scooby's spot. Of course, that could end up, like, showing, like, jealousy things. But, you know, and then he eventually learns, like, oh, I'm kind of being a dick. And then he just, Scooby just adopts him as a brother, or, like, in the case of a nephew. Mm-hmm. But, excuse me. But it's a nerdgasm. The whole thing with Dick Dastardly. Blue Falcon, he's something that I'll get into in the spoilers because it's so funny how they introduce him. You know, everything about this movie is just good.
And you know what? I wanted to throw this in there. One of the best nerdgasm moment from when we were watching. See, we were at our buddy's place. There are 6 of us in this room watching this movie. We all nerdgasmed at the same time when they went to that arena and they met Captain Caveman and they said, "Yo, you want that item over there? You're gonna have to fight me for it." Okay, let's fight. Cool. And all 6 of us in unison said with the character, "Captain Caveman," and that made me feel like 5 years old again. Yes, I freaking love that.